To see my little brother Chandler outdoing me, it's great. I want to be able to cross-market and feed off his star power. Diabetes is a disease that's had a deep impact on my family. My little brother has had type 1 diabetes since he was a baby, and I have spent time learning about the disease and trying to bring attention to it so that one day soon we will reach a cure. My time off is usually spent working out and getting better at football. When I come home and spend time with my little brother, we're out on the football field, we're working out or playing Madden. We're spending time with each other, but our quality time is football. I always wanted a little brother because I felt like the little brother had to do everything. Years ago, I worked at a fashion magazine. I was the lowest man on the totem pole, one of the only men on that particular pole, a little brother with a dozen older sisters whose grace and glamour I so admired. You know, I put my little brother in the movies and he's still in the pictures. My mother makes me put him in the pictures. Axe Cop is an animated show that just started on Fox that is based off the comic book series. And here's the hook, it's written by a 5-year-old. This 5-year-old has a brother who's, like, 28 and is in the business, and the little brother kept coming up with all these awesome stories for this character he dreamed up called Axe Cop. My little brother played drums, so we had a drum set over at my house. The Bone season is violent. There's sex. My little brother keeps asking to read it, and he's 9, so I'm like, no, it's not happening. My little brother is 4 years old and he listens to all my music. I don't know how he finds it, but he knows how to use an iPad and he's always online. So one day my mum said, you know what, you have to make something for your little brother, and that's how I made Lean Bop. My mum had this idea I was going to be this long-haired hippie playing guitar and bought me one when I was 13, but my little brother picked it up instead and was such a natural, he kept it. IO Echo is a band my brother now plays in. They're really good. I don't even think I was quite a year old. My mother was maybe 7 months pregnant with my little brother. I was sucked out of her arms, and she landed 75 yards away from our trailer and had a ruptured disc. The tornado set me down on top of this pile of corrugated lumber and scrap metal. For example, for me, my brother helped me get a manager, which I don't take for granted. It's tough getting a manager, let alone one that actually cares about you and is smart. But from there, no one's going to cast me just because I'm James Franco's little brother. At the time of Apollo 11, I was a grade schooler, and I remember every time an Apollo mission would take place that, like a lot of little boys, I'd gather in front of the TV for hours and hours and hours with my little brother. I like dressing like a guy. I love it. When I was modeling I used to do pictures where I would dress up like my little brother. No makeup, and I looked like a boy. I'm a little brother. I've always been small. People have said I have a Napoleon complex, but I've always had to fight for everything that I have. My grandparents were wealthy, my mom was not. I would walk into these worlds of privilege and then walk back into this other world. My little brother is biracial. So race and economic class and sexuality, these were always issues that were a part of my life. I love Lil Wayne, that's like my little brother. He's just the coolest dude on earth. My little brother can play the guitar, he can sing. He was a worship leader at his church. Me, no talent. Radio was my life growing up. Then, I started in our family band with my uncle, my father, my aunt and my little brother. We would go to the Chicken Box and all the bars and play. My childhood, I wouldn't say it was bad. It helped me grow up. I stayed out of trouble. My parents taught me what's wrong and right, and knowing that I had a little brother following me, I had to make sure I was doing the right thing so he knows what's right, too. I was in the house 9 days out of 10. There wasn't nothing good outside for me. Chris Candido, besides loving him like a little brother, I used to sit and watch him in awe because it was so effortless for him. He could wake up from a nap and go out and have a 5-star match. Growing up, we didn't have anything. My mum wasn't well, so I was in 3 care homes then foster homes before me and my little brother went back to her. I was passed from pillar to post. I don't just want to be James Franco's little brother. I am inherently a little brother, that's just my nature. It has to do with my sister being very strong and wanting to protect me. It's the natural order of things. I just feel so blessed to have had the time that I had with my mother. She made it so impactful in terms of how she raised me and my little brother, the values that she instilled in us, the way she inspired us, and how she lived her everyday life. I wish I could say I see my little brother more. We used to fight all the time, but now that I don't see him very often I cherish the time I have with him. If you want to know how your girl will treat you after marriage, just listen to her talking to her little brother. To be able to have winning in your blood growing up, whether it was pounding my little brother or trying to beat my dad in something, or just competing on teams with my friends, it was non-stop. I had one little brother and I would use him as a scapegoat to get us games. Obviously, I would get the more girly toys like dolls and Barbies, yada, yada, yada. But I really wanted video games or action figures or something, so I would send him to ask Mom, "Hey, I want this video game," when it was really we wanted this video game. I so desperately wanted to be Mr. Somebody. Instead, I was the little brother, included to a point. I'm a single child. I wanted a little brother or a little sister growing up, but when I think about it, I'm happy I'm an only child. My first memory of the Harry Potter series was my little brother just falling into those books and not resurfacing until he was done. That J.K. Rowling got an entire generation reading is extraordinary. I'm amazed, thrilled, and proud to now be portraying one of that phenomenal writer's characters. Drake's my little brother. I love him to death, and he's family-oriented. I grew up with my little brother, and we were raised by my grandmother. I was an insider for real. I stayed in the house a lot, writing songs or playing video games, watching TV, or chilling with my girlfriend. It wasn't until 9th grade that I got into music. This guy in school heard me singing around the hallway to girls and stuff. My little brother is autistic, so I would love to be involved in a charity for autism, but I haven't found the right one yet. I'd come from the bottom of the barrel. Just Owen Hart getting out of the shadow of Bret Hart's little brother. Everyone figured, this is a joke, Owen's going to get squashed. I was a boy with one dream and one dream only. I wanted, no, strike that, I was desperate for, a room of my own. You see, in those days I shared a room with my little brother, Jesse, and it wasn't pretty. He was the Oscar to my Felix, messy, careless, and just a little bit sticky. Exactly the way a kindergartner is supposed to be. I grew up with my little brother, and we were raised by my grandmother. I was an insider for real. I stayed in the house a lot, writing songs or playing video games, watching TV, or chilling with my girlfriend. My co-star James Lafferty, and his little brother Stuart Lafferty, and another buddy of ours, Ian Shive, are working on this project called Generation Wild. It's about getting people to realize that being outdoors is not scary. You can go on adventures like we do, in national parks, and practically in your own backyard. My little brother and grandma told me I could sing. I used to sing in church, too. Not like in the choir or anything, but for people around the church, on the church bus going home and Christmas plays. When I came into the WWF, the first thing I really didn't want to have was being Bret Hart's little brother. Kobe Bryant, to me, is still the best basketball player in my mind. He played with me and he was in my era. I still love him to death. He's a little brother to me. A majority of Bon Kaka is my little brother, who is ghetto fabulous. He has no filter whatsoever. He just says what's on his mind. My family is all musicians. My dad plays drums, my mom plays flute, my older brother plays drums, my little brother plays drums and piano. For some reason, I didn't get the memo, so I just play bass. Mom and Dad are truly my heroes. And I have to say, so is my little brother Robert. He's 11, and he's just the most amazing boy. He's so much like Dad sometimes, it's a bit scary. My little brother and I took piano lessons at a young age and played music together later on in life just to play around at home until we decided to make a record. Eventually we started having more and more songs. It's like Canada is the little brother to the United States, and one day they are going to show the world they're just as cool as their successful big brother. I remember watching I Love Lucy with my little brother. We were obsessed with I Love Lucy, and I just remember thinking, I want to do that. I love old comedic actresses, Madeline Kahn, Lucille Ball. If Bret went in there and stunk the place out, then they probably wouldn't have brought the little brother in. So just by being successful himself, it opened the door for me. Visit our website for more quotes, quoting.com.